This is
the Abyssinians.
The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is
The lion's voice. They had no fear at all. It was easy, it was God, let him be praised. It was God, let him be praised.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Ras Tafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Ras Tafari.
But it's when I went to art school now that I met Mutabaruka, because Mutabaruka used to come to art school and sell Ital food.
Okay.
And that's how I was introduced to Ital food. That is how I was mentored by Mutabaruka basically within Rastafari, in terms of the Rastafari trad.
So what year are we talking about?
We're talking about in the early 70s, 72, 73, 74, coming up to 76, because I graduated around 76. Yeah, so it's within that time that I met Mutabaruka. And he was just doing his poetry. He wasn't doing reggae music with poetry. It was just straight poetry that he was doing at that time, you know, as a Black Power man, conscious Rasta man. And he introduced me to 12 Tribe of Israel.
Okay.
Because he was in there that time. We went to 12 Tribe and we learned a few things there, and then, you know, we decided to step out, and I left Mutabaruka in there. He was there for a while until he eventually left.
Yes.
But he was the one who introduced Simon to the real Nyabingi trad, just like we see here.
Yes.
Then when I went to Jamaica School of Art, I met a sister named Sister Lynn, who was the secretary in the school.
Okay.
And she was the wife of Sam Brown.
Okay.
Sam Clayton, sorry, not Sam Brown, Sam Clayton.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was the first one that introduced Ayman to Rastafari. Then comes Mutabaruka. Because through Counters and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, I was introduced to reggae music, the chants of Counters and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari. And we used to go to different events that they have in different places in the city. And then, you know, they took me to Warwick Hill, where I was there with them for a while. I even painted a mural. Okay. One of the albums they did, called Groundation. I did that album cover.
Yes.
Oh, it was during that same time with Counters and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, because, you know, they used to follow the teaching.
Okay.
You know, even though most of those Rastas, they didn't have locks.
Yes.
You know, as I know, most of them from the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, them never have locks at that particular time. There was Joe Rouglas, there was Cedric Brooks, you know, who is another strong Ethiopian Orthodox Rastaman. Yeah. So it is true them now that I start getting that enlightenment, then, you know, chatting with Mutabaruka now, a more down to earth and a more real concept and understanding of Haile Selassie I came from the Nyabingi trad, and bring things to a more realistic, because them time after leaving 12 Tribe and, you know, drop their concept of the Bible and so on and so forth, we're moving to a trad now where we start seeing Haile Selassie in a clearer reality.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was during those times I am on. Well, you know, within African tradition, from ever since, the people of Africa see their divine examples through the living human being and the environment. See? So it wasn't strange for us after we start understanding the concept, the traditional concept of African people, to cite Haile Selassie divinity through a living human being in that sense, you know, because in African tradition it is clearly defined as regards to the spirit of the Most High. You know, then after reading up on the trad of Haile Selassie in terms of his examples and his livity, and understanding the background of Christianity, where it came from, that, you know, it was stolen legacy out of Egypt and so on and so forth, and you equate Haile Selassie life with ancient Egypt in terms of all of those iconic figures. They are one and the same in that sense in terms of I ancient tradition of seeing the Almighty through the eyes of our I self, and them in reality. That is not any fake or unusual issue where you have to be looking up in the sky or you have to be dreaming or whatever. You know, man, God is man and man is God in that sense then, and that is how the manifestation go. After treading almost every hills and valleys in Jamaica, my lord, where Nyabing is concerned, I felt that Rastafari need to be taking on a more revolutionary character. Because we talk about repatriation, we talk about burning down the system and Babylon and whatever, but I felt that there needs to be more proactivity as regards to challenging the system, because when I look forward and see how Howell and them man was in terms of establishing Pinnacle and the challenges that a lot of the elders had, was direct confrontation with the state, you know, trying to ensure their sovereignty and integrity and so on and so forth. So I felt that the movement was getting too religious and not revolutionary as how Rastafari started off, because Rastafari started off as a revolutionary force, a Pan-African force. And Rastafari at that time, they had passed certain realms from way back. So Rastafari should have done that repatriation vibes from way back. And it has impeded the movement up until today, where brethren no longer feel the need to repatriate because they have missed the time. Because life is about time and space, just like we are here. This time and space that we are here on this land, my lord, show you that it's important to move in time.
Yeah, man.
Seeing what just happened here recently, a couple of days ago and a couple of weeks ago, tell you that it's important to be in time. Because when you are not in time, my lord, you find that you're going to miss your destiny and your journey. And I see that is what is happening in Jamaica with Rastafari a lot right now. The African component, the African retention and component should add to Rastafari and take Rastafari to another level. Right? And that is lacking in Jamaica because they have no understanding and no daily experience of this ancient trad that we talk about. And this legacy that we have left behind, I was taken away from. So the movement has become weak because of that. And sooner Rastafari recognize it and repatriate it, the stronger the movement is going to be, because the missing component of Rastafari is here. No, it's serious. You see, them use our Christian song, we say, if you only know the blessings that is in store for you, you would never stay away. And they used to say to that 12 tribe. See? And I'm saying the same thing to Rastafari in Jamaica right now. If you only know the blessing that is in store for you right here in Africa, you'd get up and chat right now. They broke out of prison with the intention that they were going to do take some revolutionary actions by robbing banks and doing whatever, give money to the poor. Some very adventurous move which we wasn't in support of it. Because we didn't even know that the day that they was going to break out of prison. They just break out one day and say we are out. And we're coming now to help, for y'all to come and help us to fight this revolution. Because they didn't have the full clarity. So we had to disappear, you know. So it's so funny that when they came to our office on Walton Park Road, they said that they knocked and they looked through the window and there was only Marxists but no revolutionaries was around. So he told me that he's going to introduce me to Peter Tosh. You know, because he was getting ready to go on I think it was the 82 tour, and they were working on the album. So he did it. I went and spoke with Peter and they saw my work, and that time it was he and his wife Marlene Brown. She was a young girl at the time. As a matter of fact, she was at Camperdown High School when I was teaching there. When I was teaching at Camperdown High School, she was a student there.
Okay.
So she was also, you know, working on my behalf to get the album. You know, telling Peter, say, yes, I know him, give him the album, and, you know, Evan Garden doing the same thing. So I got the album to do. And at the time when I got the album to do, EMI, which is the recording company in music business company in the US, told them that they have an artist and they want their artist to do it because they are putting up the finance. And Peter Tosh said to them, say, not a bumbuckler. He said, if my artist not getting this contract, no deal. I know Peter Tosh stay.
Yeah.
He's a man in the back from certain things.
Yeah.
And he make up his mind, say, if them never give me the work for do, he might just cut the deal with them. So they eventually gave me the opportunity to do the album.
Okay.
So because I started late, he said to me, say, hey, where the Ras? Just come and tour with me and you finish the album while we are on tour in the hotels and so on. So that's how I really got to go on that tour.
Right.
Yeah. You know, even before I went on tour, Peter Tosh was a bridging that I was getting very close to because we all used to go to the office at daytime and we sit down and reason, and there's a man where Marley is a burn him spliff and people bring the best herb come and give him. The best herb, we have 5 different qualities on his desk and thing. And there's a man who burn herb hard, serious, he don't put the herb. So when you go in there, you have to clear your way like that to even see him because they're pure smoke. Yeah. But I would say at that time, Peter Tosh was very, very loving, very affectionate, a real bridging, very, very cool. And I enjoy that moment because this is a man that you see like a mythical figure in the society and the system. And then when you get close to him, you realize him is just a real natural man just like yourself. And, you know, very bridging-like, you know, yeah. So I appreciated that aspect of him at that particular time, you know. But over time, I've seen a lot of changes.
So what was it like first stepping foot on African soil after so long?
Oh, my lord, it was a joy to know that I touched down. Serious joy to know that I touched down. And when I touched down, the first place I went to was Cocoa Beatty in that community. And after start moving around and start seeing the place, the condition the place was in at that time, I got depressed. Yeah, because I didn't know that the city was like that. The roads was dirt road basically. A whole lot of it was dirt road. Some of these, even that Cape Coast Road was in a total mess.
Wow.
And a place named Mango Line, which was lines of mango trees on both sides on that road. It was like a dirt road. You know, it was difficult making communication back to the west because it was a telecom system that you have to go there, set an appointment and go there and tell your people, okay, call me at this day, I'm going to be there. And you go there and wait and wait and wait. Sometimes you have to wait for hours and you have to line up in order to get a call. So it was serious. And even the communication, sometimes you have to be speaking very loud because the system wasn't as good as it is right now and people didn't have mobile phones and all of that.
Yeah.
So that was it. It took me a long while before I could even drink that water that they call pure water from the rubber because I've never seen it, the plastic bag.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before because that wasn't in Jamaica when I was there.
Yeah.
So the advocacy has to be waged again to ensure that the society is protected by, you know, from GMO. We presently have this issue of galamseed. It is in the system which is creating a lot of devastation with the ecosystem.
Yes, talk about it.
Yeah, and GMO is even more dangerous than that because it has more access to human beings much more than the galamsey. Because even within the supermarket, at the time we realized that GMO was being sold in the Accra Mall, coming from South Africa, cornflakes and different items. And at that same time, it was illegal, but nonetheless, it was on the market.
It was on the market.
Yeah, they had glyphosate, round up on the market selling to farmers. Even in these most of these areas, those chemicals are being sold at the farmers' stores.
Yes.
Okay, the Ras Tafari Council of Ghana was the one who spearheaded the initiation of an advocacy for cannabis publicly. They had a forum and a press conference that was launched at that particular time to call for decriminalization or legalization at that particular time. And we were all a part of it. My partner and myself and the whole Rastafari community was at that particular conference. And it was from there that we recognized that we had to actually take the lead in terms of taking it to Parliament and advocate for the law. So it is from there now that I called a lawyer and told him what has happened. And then I took a picture of my son and put it on Facebook. And a picture of the young man and his father sitting down there. And I put that on Facebook. Because when we realized that they were not prepared to make any compromise, we realized that, we had to fight the case. So we agreed together to fight the case, to take it to its ultimate. And the lawyers agreed to defend us, pro bono. Nonetheless, we needed to come up with a certain amount of money in the beginning to actually initiate it, because we didn't expect him to take on all of the expense just like that. It was a noble mission that he was on and so on, but we also felt that we should have done something to help encourage him. And he took on the case from there, and it went to court. And the school was just flaunting its power, by basically telling the GIS, which was the Ghana Education, GS, Ghana Education Service, that their laws cannot be violated by any of the students or the parents. So they are going to go ahead and stick to it. And that was when I started getting more knowledge from the lawyer. The lawyer started explaining to me, that legally they are wrong. Well, recently we had the ITAL certification workshop here in this village, because as most people know, that Rastafari have been functioning with its own self-determination policies and guidelines, separate from the system itself in many, many different ways. We are people who believe in self-reliance in so many different ways. So as part of our liberty, we came up with the understanding and the knowledge of ITAL, which was drawn from ancient indigenous cultures, to prepare our food outside of the system, because there are so many contamination and poisoning and whatever that are in the general food system that is not in keeping with our religious philosophy and spiritual philosophy and culture. So we came up with that understanding and practice of ITAL, right? Which means natural, but we take it on another level, more than just natural, much more than when you talk about vegetarianism, veganism, and so on. So we have taken it to our next heights, where the spiritual component of it is also considered as an integral part of the ITAL liberty and the ITAL trial. We have done make so many contributions to society, and in many ways it is taken by the system and capitalism itself, capitalize off of it, and the Rastafari community is marginalized and don't get the benefits of it. So we are looking into all of that and saying that we have to start having full control over our intellectual properties, so on and so forth. So the ITAL triad becomes one part of it now, that we want to ensure that we have some legal certification that will protect it, mainly from capitalism and imperialism, which always come in and violate indigenous cultures. So we came together as Rastafari brethren and sisters from different parts of the world to come up with a standard, a ITAL standard, certification standard that would give us that recognition and that respect, and also have sovereignty over our food system. So that's the main purpose why we did it. So this workshop that came brought brethren from different parts of the world who were part of that coming together to build it. And we came to put those policies together and those guidelines so that we can actually present them to ensure that we have the legal rights and status to be able to guard and protect it, and also make it becomes something of importance, an important contribution to the health of the world. We as Rastafari, or I and I as Rastafari, have always been chanting about repatriation with reparations, right? And we are not going to back from that. We still have a long way to go, and I'm hoping and trusting that brethren and sisters who are fully aware of the importance of repatriation and reparation would put a little more energy towards repatriation, because if you do not occupy this space, others will occupy it. And when you come here and you see real foreigners occupying the space, you are going to be very bitter. And you cannot blame them, because you yourself have your home and you have left it abandoned. And there are opportunities now, much more than before, for you to repatriate, right? So ginger up yourself, fire, right? Kindle some fire underneath your feet or wherever, and have that will to come to Africa, even if you just come and look. And I'm sure when you come and look, you'll realize that you have been missing something for all these years and these generations that is still here waiting on you. Give thanks and praise. Rastafari, Haile Selassie, I Empress Menenai. Jah.
Rastafari, I.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabet is giving birth in a place called Erjersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in deaths. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Tafari, meaning one to be feared or respected. Lich Tafari's father, Ras Makunin, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras Makunin is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras Makana knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. Ras Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting, and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwesi Bansu, aka the Chasmatch Kwesi, aka Ras Kwesi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion Voice Vlog. Welcome to the Lion Voice Vlog, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today we have a very special guest. We interviewed this brethren before. Sound wasn't the greatest. But this is a legend within I Ras Tafari family. So much works. Brethren is so humble, one of our great elders in the movement. And I am honored to be sitting here at the Kwaku Ando Sustainability Institute after over one strong of deliberations around Black and Rastafari food sovereignty with the man who in part made this gathering possible by his diplomacy in this very community in which we sit. I'm talking about the great Ras Aswad. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network.
Thanks, my lord. Yes, it's a pleasure, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this sip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To introduce the eye to the global family. I know a lot of Jamaica family will say, yeah man, Aswad that man, yeah man. A long time
It's true,
because you're not a stranger.
Yeah.
To the elders in the Jamaica family. We're gonna get into that history. We have a tradition here on the Lion Voice Network where we ask our guests to step into the Lion Talk time machine.
Yeah.
And to take us forward to the moment of the birth
Rastafari.
and the uprising journey to Rastafari.
Give thanks. Yes, you'll everyone, you know. Rastafari, give thanks and praise to all the viewers out there internationally. It's a pleasure and honor to be here, the jazz match, in Vuliatiwati Volta, at the foot of the highest mountain in West Africa. We couldn't have chosen a better place at this moment, you know, to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Ras Aswad in Krabia. I was born Mervyn Palmer in Jamaica. Most people in the art world know me as Mervyn Palmer, but we dash for those names in Africa here. This is the name that most people know I have. You know, that is Ras Aswad in Krabia. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and came up as a visual artist. Studied visual artist at an early age. Went to the Jamaica School of Art and majored in painting, fine arts basically, which includes sculpture, ceramics, painting, etc. Visual arts in general. I was teaching thereafter. As a matter of fact, I started teaching at the school before I even graduated. I was teaching there part-time.
Okay.
And then I eventually graduated and started a commercial art business. And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia for some time, after a while. And then back to Jamaica for a very short time, then to St. Vincent. I moved to St. Vincent. As my first wife came from St. Vincent. I met her in Jamaica, I met her at university in Jamaica. And I went there to live for a while, and I moved back to the US, because repatriation was always on my mind, and find an easier access in the US to move to Africa, because there are so many like-minded people who are going back and forth to Africa from that side. And it is from there that I came to Ghana.
Well, we'll stick a pin, because I turned 70 this year. We had 3 70-year-olds on this journey. It was a very mystic journey, this journey. But take us forward to your childhood, where, what parish, what was Jamaica like in those times?
Yeah, well, I was born in 1955, 7th of March 1955. As the Bridget just said right now, I'm on 70 this year. And 70 is a significant spiritual number in the scheme of things. So I don't take it lightly.
Yes.
Yeah. But as a youth, we grew up in the ghetto.
Which community?
Maxfield Avenue, Jonestown.
Okay.
Go to school at Greenwich Farm, private school in Greenwich Farm.
Yes.
So it is within that West Kingston area that I grew up, And my mother was really come from a poor background. She was a dressmaker.
Okay.
And she, my father left at an early age, so I grew up basically without a father.
Okay.
A mother who was the mother and father throughout the whole time. And I had to be like the breadwinner at an early age by her side.
Okay.
Even my elder brothers and so on and so forth, I was supporting them throughout in different endeavors coming up, because I started off early as an artist. I started doing my artwork, earning money from my artwork early. From 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, you realized you had talent.
Yeah, and then my mother now pushed it forward to send me to learn some trade, screen printing at Orange Street, downtown, right at Tarrenton Bridge.
And this is before the political violence, so even though these are notorious communities, when you say Maxfield Avenue, Jonestown, but this is before they really were so volatile.
Yeah, before the 70s and things like that.
But they were still rough areas.
Still rough areas, because even when Walter Rodney came to Jamaica, I was studying screen printing as an apprentice at Orange Street, and that riot broke out there. That was my first exposure to any kind of public violent situation like that, and we had to walk home because the people decided that since we're not going to let in Rodney to come to Jamaica, they're going to destroy the whole place, and then burn down all of the Chinese shops, then burn down the other people's businesses, they destroy the public transportation system and anything to do with government. So I had to walk from there to go to, at the time I was living in Marvally. I had to walk from there to go to Marvally, because no transportation was running. And I didn't fully know who Walter Rodney was at the time, but we hear the name, and after a while coming into Ras Tafari, recognized that Walter Rodney was a man who was supporting I&I cause and the cause of Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's when I went to art school now that I met Mutabaruka, because Mutabaruka used to come to art school and sell Ital food.
Okay.
And that's how I was introduced to Ital food. That is how I was mentored by Mutabaruka basically within Ras Tafari, in terms of the Ras Tafari trad.
So what year are we talking about?
We're talking about in the early 70s, 72, 73, 74, coming up to 76, because I graduated around 76. Yeah, so it's within that time that I met Mutabaruka. And he was just doing his poetry. He wasn't doing reggae music with poetry. It was just straight poetry that he was doing at that time, as a Black Power man, conscious Rasta man. And he introduced me to 12 Tribe of Israel.
Okay.
Because he was in there that time. We went to 12 Tribe and we learned a few things there, and then, we decided to step out, and I left Mutabaruka in there. He was there for a while until he eventually left.
Yes.
But he was the one who introduced Iman to the real Nyabingi chat, just like we seen here the past couple of days on these grounds.
Yeah, man.
That kind of liberty where it's outdoor liberty throughout the whole time, feeding from nature, living with nature as one, That's where I even met Profile, great Profile.
Yes.
And we all were, chatting together as youth to all of the Nyabingi guys, back and forth and linking up with elders. Bongo Tani, you know, Ras Aswad,
Yeah, man.
and all them elders, my lad, the whole of them, Mama Bubbles,
Yeah, man.
the whole of them, you know, those are the ones that we you know, will come up under, you know.
Beautiful, because those are some elders that I've been honored to spend time with. In terms of Rastafari trad, what made the eye? You say you met Muta, but what was it about Rastafari that attracted the eye?
No, well, you know, my mother was a woman who into the Bible,
Yes.
and that is all she was preaching, and I would say is the most righteous person when it comes to Christianity that I know.
Yeah.
You know, and as a result of that, I started reading the Bible myself and checking out certain things. But on Garden Lane, which was the next lane, I was living on Sunlight Street, and then the next street of my backyard was Garden Lane, where they had some Rasses who live over there, and they make them fence probably all 20 feet high. So yes, I was. So we used to hear the chanting and Ayabingi chanting and see the smoking and all those things coming up, and then when them used to pass, them used to yell away as youth at the fence, you know. So it was mesmerizing to me to see how the man them live and them vibes and all of that. So that kind of affection, just feeling their vibes and the spirit and listening to the Nyabingi chant, and, you know, just seeing them isolated in the community, because not people who used to just come out and be part of the society. You see them passing with them broom and them whatever it is that them have going through. And I get attracted from that time. Then when I went to Jamaica School of Art, I met a sister named Sister Lynn, who was the secretary in the school.
Okay.
And she was the wife of Sam Brown.
Okay.
Sam Clayton, sorry, not Sam Brown, Sam Clayton.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was the first one that introduced Iman to Rastafari. Then comes Mutabaruka. Because through Countersi and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, I was introduced to reggae music, the chants of Countersi and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari. And we used to go to different events that they have in different places in the city. And then, you know, they took me to Warwick Hill, where I was there with them for a while. I even painted a mural. Okay. One of the albums they did, called Groundation. I did that album cover. They took the artwork from the mural I did for the center. They had a cultural center there, so I painted a mural on it, and they used that for the Groundation album. So I was with them for a while and get a lot of exposure through Rastafari Liberty, especially where the music is concerned and African traditional music, because there was the one who introduced I to Patrice Lumumba. She gave me a book, my first book on Patrice Lumumba.
So what was that like day to day, moving with these ones?
Oh, it was an enlightening, my lad, because that is where I even get my vibes in terms of repatriation.
Okay.
Coming to Africa, African culture and arts and so on, because she was a dancer. She was a dancer and she was an organizer within the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari. So they introduced me to different aspects and, you know, cultural attention where Africa is concerned, you know, and then that Rastafari Liberty from Countersi and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari.
Yes.
You know, I remember they gave me a dashiki. She gave me a dashiki, nice. I mean, it was purple, orange, and green, and whatever. And I'm telling you, my lad, due to the brainwash education that we had at that time, I couldn't wear it. Because every time I put it on, I just look and see how people go and just look and just vibes them over. Say, what kind of clothes that Ray. See it? So it's over time.
What year was that?
That was like 72, 73.
Okay, early 70s.
Yeah, early 70s,
that
my
was
lad.
a Black Power time in
Black
Jamaica.
Power time, yeah, because them times I was like 16, 17,
okay,
just coming up. Yeah, that was Black Power time. And they gradually introduced me. I would say that they formed my understanding where Pan-Africanism is concerned through them. And then Muta came in now with the Rastafari Liberty, which was the live and direct trad among Rastafari. You know, he's the one who really fully exposed Iman to the real liberty of Rastafari, up and down.
And when did you become aware of the Emperor Haile Selassie I?
Oh, it was during that same time with Countersi and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, because, you know, they used to follow the teaching
Okay.
You know, even though most of those Rastas, they didn't have locks.
Yes.
You know, as they I know. Most of them from the mystic revelation of
Yes.
Rastafari, them never have locks at that particular time. There was Joe Rouglas, there was Cedric Brooks, you know, who is another strong Ethiopian Orthodox
Yes.
Rastaman. Yeah. So it is true them now that I start getting that enlightenment, then, you know, chatting with Mutabaruka now, a more down to earth and a more real concept and understanding of Haile Selassie I came from the Nyabingi Chad and bring things to a more realistic, because them time after leaving 12 tribe and, you know, drop their concept of the Bible and so on and so forth. We're moving to a Chad now where we start seeing Haile Selassie in a clearer reality.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was during those times I am on.
So how does the eye cite the divinity of His Imperial Majesty in terms of the trad in those times, and then how the eye has that evolved to where you are today?
Yeah. Well, you know, within African tradition, from ever since, the people of Africa see their divine examples through the living human being and the environment. See? So it wasn't strange for us after we start understanding the concept, the traditional concept of African people, to cite Haile Selassie I divinity through a living human being in that sense, you know, because in African tradition it is clearly defined as regards to the spirit of the Most High. You know, then after reading up on the trad of Haile Selassie in terms of his examples and his livity, and understanding the background of Christianity, where it came from, that, you know, it was stolen legacy out of Egypt and so on and so forth, and you equate Haile Selassie life with ancient Egypt in terms of all of those iconic figures. They are one and the same in that sense in terms of I ancient tradition of seeing the Almighty through the eyes of our I self, and them in reality. That is not any fake or unusual issue where you have to be looking up in the sky or you have to be dreaming or whatever. You know, man, God is man and man is God in that sense then, and that is how the manifestation go. You know, so that is how I come forward within that tradition, you know. Yeah. So Haile Selassie is a divine king for I without any apology to anyone, you know.
Give thanks. All right, so make we return to the journey now. After your art school or learning, what was the next move entering for the art trad?
Well, the next move now, after going up in the hills and living up in the hills, I was living with Mutabaruka for a while and his family for some years up in the mountains there, Red Hills.
Okay.
And we used to chat regular.
That's with Mama Ivan.
Yeah, Mama Ivan. Yeah, exactly. And the youth them before them even born.
Yeah, okay.
Before them two youth that born by law were there. Okay. And there was a sister named Carleen.
Okay.
Which was the empress for Kidosai. You know Kidosai?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was Kidosai empress who was living there. And then another brother named Haile from New York, who his sister Pauline, she was also living there. So it was really three empresses and Mutabaruka and Ayman that was living there, and then the youth them come forth. Kidosai used to come and stay back and forth, so on and so forth, but he wasn't there permanently.
Yes.
So it was that period of living with the family and moving around and so on. Then after treading almost every hills and valleys in Jamaica, my lord, where Nyabingi is concerned, I felt that Rastafari need to be taking on a more revolutionary character. Because we talk about repatriation, we talk about burning down the system and Babylon and whatever, but I felt that there needs to be more proactivity as regards to challenging the system, because when I look forward and see how Howell and them man was in terms of establishing Pinnacle and the challenges that a lot of the elders had was direct confrontation with the state, you know, trying to ensure their sovereignty and integrity and so on and so forth. So I felt that the movement was getting too religious and not revolutionary as how Rastafari started off, because Rastafari started off as a revolutionary force, a Pan-African force, you know, a strong, you know, force of, as I said, death before the sun, you know, death to black and white oppressors, that kind of non-compromising stance.
Yes.
So the movement was getting weakened after a while based on different religious groups that came in and weakened different sections of it, so on and so forth. And the society, it has opened up to the society in a certain kind of way without establishing some of those orders that we talk about from the beginning. Like, for instance, repatriation was one of the key components. But the repatriation wasn't manifesting in a way and the time that I see and even now recognize that it should have happened, because when you reach a certain heights within creation in terms of your knowledge and awareness, it is that heights and awareness is going to take you to the next level based on your practical application. And Rastafari at that time, they had passed certain realms from way, 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 way back. So Rastafari should have done that repatriation vibes from way back. And it has impeded the movement up until today, where brethren no longer feel the need to repatriate because they have missed the time. Because life is about time and space, just like we are here. This time and space that we are here on this land, my lord, show you that it's important to move in time.
Yeah, man.
Seeing what just happened here recently, a couple of days ago and a couple of weeks ago, tell you that it's important to be in time. Because when you are not in time, my lord, you find that you're going to miss your destiny and your journey. And I see that is what is happening in Jamaica with Rastafari a lot right now. That is why among the brethren and the communities it has gotten so decadent and so, you know, weakened by the system. Because that realm, they're supposed to step out of that realm and into a realm like how we are in Africa right now. Because that's what we preach.
Heaven and earth.
Yes,
This is what we chant
That's what we chant about from youth. And even when you come here now, the African component, the African retention and component should add to Rastafari and take Rastafari to another level. Right? And that is lacking in Jamaica because they have no understanding and no daily experience of this ancient trad that we talk about.
Yes.
And this legacy that we have left behind, I was taken away from. So the movement has become weak because of that. And sooner Rastafari recognize it and repatriate it, the stronger the movement is going to be, because the missing component of Rastafari is here. Is when man come home, Ethiopia, different African countries, and seated up on the land that the strength of Rastafari is going to come to its fullness. So it's very important.
Very important, and I'm glad you said that, because one of the reasons that I established the Lion Voice Network was to feed the root, that Pan-African root, that revolutionary root, because same thing with the eye, we see that passion for repatriation, which I still caught a piece from the elders, so massive respect to I and I Asians, you know what I mean, because I caught a piece of it. In terms of they never tried to steer us away from repatriation, although many of them never saw Africa.
Right.
But I saw that the movement was losing that sense of direction. And this is why we rose up into the media. And these brethren don't do a lot of interviews that, you know, we see in the West, although he's very well known. So this is why I give thanks that we have this platform where the family can hear from a brethren who manifests that repatriation trad. You know what I mean? They manifest it. And so this is very timely that I speak to the global family about the realities.
No, it's serious. You see, them use our Christian song to say, if you only know the blessings that is in store for you, you would have never stay away. And they used to say to that 12th tribe. See it? And I'm saying the same thing to Rastafari in Jamaica right now. If you only know the blessing that is in store for you right here in Africa, you'd have get up and chat right now. See it?
That's why I had to interview there down by the river. You know, as a matter of fact, I sit here so we can get the river. When the crop out there, myself.
Rastafari.
We can get. This is why we're down by the river, family, so that the item can see the life that awaits here. Gentle waters that you can drink out of that river there. And it's been such a joy. But yes, so continue. You are chatting every night of being there. You feel that you wanted that revolutionary.
Yes. So that is how I came back and I met my wife when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
I had an exhibition. I went back and I get back into my artwork, and my work is social and political in nature.
Yes.
So when I do my fine arts, I express that revolutionary and political sentiments in it. So I had the exhibition at the extramural life center at the creative arts center in the university. And she, as a student, she was a revolutionary on campus, active revolutionary on campus, and she came to the exhibition. And when she came to the exhibition, she saw my work at that revolutionary character. So she said she had to meet this artist to see who he is, so on and so forth. So an appointment was set for me to meet her, and I went there and we met each other, and from there we kick it off as revolutionaries. So the relationship developed, but she at the time was a Marxist.
Okay.
She was a serious Marxist on the front line. She'd been to Cuba and other revolutionary countries like that, and engaged politically, actively on the ground with an organization called Revolutionary Marxist League in Jamaica. So I also became a member of that organization because we felt that there needs to be some revolutionary change in Jamaica, especially with a reactionary government that was around at that time, which was the Jamaica Labour Party, and their ties with the United States and the CIA and all of that. So we were very active where that is concerned, but our position was a little bit radical and extreme and more on the left, to the left.
Yeah.
So we were isolated in that sense because we didn't see the need to support Michael Manley nor the Edward Seaga, because we were looking beyond their politics, because the politics of Michael Manley at the time was Democratic Socialist, which was not a revolutionary position. It's just like here in Ghana now with John Mahama's party, the similar kind of party and politics. So we pushed for a more serious revolutionary orientation at that time. So we were isolated in that sense because of those positions, because we were still criticizing the government for their weaknesses, whichever government in power and so on and so forth. And Jamaica is a violent place, an aggressive place. So having those kind of position and going up against those political parties was very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, because these people are not afraid to come and rush you and shoot you and do whatever.
And send a man.
Yeah, exactly. And there are several times that we had to even go and disappear. I'm not straying, but even when Copper and all those group 5 group of men escaped from prison, because we used to go into prison and teach them revolutionary politics and things. And when them escaped, we had to go in hiding.
Okay.
Because they were coming now. They broke out of prison with the intention that they were going to do take some revolutionary actions by robbing banks and doing whatever, give money to the poor. Some very adventurous move, which we wasn't in support of it. Because we didn't even know that the day that they was going to break out of prison, them just break out one day and say we are out, and we're coming now to help, for y'all to come and help us to fight this revolution. Because they didn't have the full clarity.
Yes.
So we had to disappear, So it's so funny that when they came to our office on Walton Park Road, they said that they knocked and they looked through the window, and there was only Marxists, but no revolutionaries was around. So we had to find a way now to meet them, because they wanted to meet us to discuss the issue, but we didn't want it to be so public. So we had to meet them in some private place to explain to them that we are not on the agenda that they are on. Because it's counter-revolutionary, 1, and 2, it's very adventurous, and what they into, they was just going to die out gradually, one by one. And that's eventually what happened, police just take them out one by one. So those things brought down a whole lot of heat and pressure on us because of our relationship with them. And then I used to teach in the prison from I was in art school. I used to teach at General Penitentiary, and I taught at Fort Augusta Prison. That is where I met Uko Onuro.
Yes.
Yeah. At the time he was Orlando Wang.
Yes.
And quite a few other ones, brother who introduced me to Peter Tosh. It is true that prisoners rehabilitation program that I was on, where I go in the prisons and teach them certain things so that when they come out, they will have a meaningful, livelihood to look forward to. So I met him, and then he introduced me to Peter, and then, you know, they saw my work, and that's why I was able to get the album to do.
Okay.
So those were the days.
Yeah, I don't want to jump to the Peter Tosh. Whole heap of history. So after I joined that Marxist vibration, what
Yeah.
year are we talking? This is 80s.
You're talking about, yeah, that's 80s. Yeah, that is 80s, because I graduated in 76, and then,
Okay.
yeah. So it is early 80s.
Early
And
80s.
the 70s was rough,
Yeah.
because that time the Labour Right Party, Jamaica Labour Party, was seriously in bed with the United States and the CIA, and they was creating a whole lot of disturbance because of the relationship between Cuba and Jamaica. At that time, Cuba was doing a lot of work in Jamaica in terms of building schools and different farming projects, so on and so forth, that the people was all for that kind of relationship with Cuba. So the United States stepped up its aggression seriously, you know, and they have done some terrible things. You know, the evening tide home fire that they burned down the whole place.
Yes, that was a home for the, it was mentally.
Yes,
Mental rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, yeah. And they burned it down. Then there was the Orange Lane fire again, which they burned down the whole of that community. Even firemen, they couldn't even go in there and out the fire because they would shoot at them and all kind of different things. And they deliberately took children, babies, mothers was running out of those disaster, and show them back in the fire.
Wow.
Because the CIA wanted to create a certain amount of fear and panic in the society. And that is why they went to those draconian kind of approach to the whole issue, you know. So it was some rough time at that particular time.
Yes.
And it go on until, you know, the left movement eventually got weakened. And I went into business and my art business, and then from there, there was serious problem with the foreign exchange, where they couldn't get foreign exchange to get materials and equipment and whatever. So I just closed down the business and decided to move to the US to go and study and do whatever.
So where in the US did you first
I went to Atlanta.
Okay.
I was in Atlanta.
And what was that? Was that a culture shock for the eye, or did that stay?
Well, it was a culture shock in one sense, because I've never lived.
Was this after you did the work for Peter Tosh?
Yeah, it was after.
Okay, well, give us a story about how. So for those who don't know, the Mama Africa album cover, you know, iconic, legendary, is this man Jah, the cover art. So we want to get that full story.
Yeah, so I met this brother named Evan Garden, who was a prisoner in General Penitentiary.
Okay.
And because the prisoners' rehabilitation was going on at that particular time, during the Manley era, he was doing a lot of social programs to help the disenfranchised and so on. So those guys, they came out of prison, and they were progressive youths, you know, because a lot of these youths in prison, they are not youths who are not intelligent. Most of them are very intelligent, and, you know, they support the Pan-African cause and the revolutionary cause and so on. They just don't have the proper direction and so on.
Yes.
So they used to, you know, we used to have different, you know, poetry reading, different things at the culture. At the time I was teaching at the Cultural Center, which has the School of Drama, the School of Art, the School of Jewelry. All the arts were there on that one side. Even School of Music was there on that one side at the Cultural Training Center. So we all meet up as artists and revolutionaries and do different things. So he told me that he's going to introduce me to Peter Tosh, you know, because he was getting ready to go on I think it was the 82 tour, and they were working on the album. So he did it. I went and spoke with Peter, and they saw my work, and that time it was he and his wife, Marlene Brown. She was a young girl at the time. As a matter of fact, she was at Camperdown High School when I was teaching there. When I was teaching at Camperdown High School, she was a student there.
Okay.
So she was also, you know, working on my behalf to get the album telling Peter, say, yes, I know him, give him the album, and, Evan gone doing the same thing. So I got the album to do. And at the time when I got the album to do, EMI, which is the recording company in music business company in the US, told them that they have an artist and they want their artist to do it because they are putting up the finance. And Peter Tosh said to them, say, not a bumbuckler. He said, if my artist not getting this contract, no deal. I know Peter Tosh there. Yeah. He's a man in a back from certain things. Yeah. And he make up his mind, say, if them never give me the work for do, he might just cut the deal with them. So they eventually gave me the opportunity to do the album.
Okay.
So because I started late, he said to me, say, hey, where the Ras? Just come and tour with me and you finish the album while we are on tour in the hotels and so on. So that's how I really got to go on that tour. That was
and what was that? What was the name of the tour and what was it described that?
I can't remember the title of it, but it was, I think, it was a Mama Africa tour.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a tour of that same album.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with them and, while they are doing the rehearsal and doing whatever in the day, I stay in the hotel and start working on the album, get my materials and whatever, and try and finish the album. And then I was asked to do the backdrop for the stage, different places that they were playing. I designed the tour jacket and the t-shirts and a few other paraphernalia that they were actually selling along the way. And while they were moving on some of the tours, I stayed back and then joined the tour in some other area, like in New Mexico and in California and different places, once I got to a certain point with my artwork. And I remember going to New Mexico and my first time seeing Indians, real Indians, with their hair long come down to the ground just like dreadlocks. So they look just like Ras Tafari. And they came out in great numbers to meet Peter Tosh. And that was very, very, very touching because those are indigenous people just like us, as Ras Tafari.
Yes.
And, that gave me a lot of experience. I also went to the studio of Michael Jackson, brother Jermaine Jackson, the It Factory in Manhattan, and met him, Betty Wright, and a few other important people in the music business because of Peter Tosh. So the exposure was very, very good, and very enlightening. And as a man who has never been to the US before, you can imagine, sometimes I used to look up just trying to see the sky in Manhattan, and this is pure concrete, my lad. You don't get no sunlight unless it's directly over the city like that. So, it shows me how, at that time, how the black people are alienated from the system itself, even those monolithic buildings and whatever. It was just very empowering, or overpowering basically, to be in a system like that. And those imposter Jews from Israel, they used to just walk up and down the street as if they say they own the place and they don't pay no attention to anyone, they don't greet nobody or nobody greet them, they don't even answer. It was an eye-opening experience.
And what was it like to experience, what now is known as a legendary tour? Did you know it was legendary as a young brethren in the moment?
No, not until I actually went to the US and I saw how the people responded. Because when I first got to the airport, he was a tall white man in his full black suit, jacket and tie, with my name on a card like this, standing in the airport, right? And that's how I really identified that someone came to pick me up, right? And then he came and said he's working with Peter Tosh, so he's the driver that come to pick me up. So when he carried me outside, my lad, it was a long stretch limousine. So that was a new experience for me,
Yeah.
A long stretch limousine. I was the only one going in there.
Okay.
And he opened the door, put me inside there and take my luggage and whatever and carry me to the hotel. So that was a good, good experience,
Yes.
Enlightened experience. And I realized, Peter touched upon a level in this place.
Yes.
And to see when he took me to some of the recording companies and whatever, I see that the doors open for this man in this city. And I think he was given the key to one of those cities at that particular time.
Okay.
So it was a big thing.
So did you develop a close relationship with him over time, or was it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
mostly
yeah.
business?
You know, even before I went on tour, Peter Tosh was a brethren that I was getting very close to, because we all used to go to the office at daytime. I was sitting on reason, and there's a man where Marley's a burn him spliff, and people bring the best herb, come and give him. Best herb, we have 5 different qualities on his desk and thing. And there's a man who burn herb hard, serious, he don't put the herb. So when you go in there, you have to clear your way like that to even see him, because they're pure smoke. Yeah. But I would say at that time, Peter Tosh was very, very loving,
Yeah.
very affectionate, a real bridging, very, very cool. And I enjoy that moment, because this is a man that you see like a mythical figure in the society and the system. And then when you get close to him, you realize him is just a real natural man, just like yourself. And, you know, very bridging like, you know, yeah. So I appreciated that aspect of him at that particular time, you know. But over time, I've seen a lot of changes over the years. And sometimes it is the industry, sometimes it is the pressure from the capitalist system that you are working in that demands so much and gives so little back to those who are feeding the system. Like most of the musicians, they go through a lot of that kind of thing, you know, with these recording companies, etc.
Yes.
You know, because they don't control the industry industry controls them and determine their future and their whatever. So having to do that, and I see how hard they work on the tour. So when I went on tour, I realized that it wasn't no easy thing, because when you go on the tour bus, from one state to another, you're driving almost 2 days to get to another state. And you have to be stopping in a hotel, this, that, and then there were women who were just riding on bikes, just following the tour. And then when you get to the hotel, them come to the hotel door to try and, you know, engage men.
Serious?
Yeah. Follow on tour, my lad.
Wow.
And they ride the bike,
Motorbike?
and they would take the cars and whatever and follow. These are fans, fanatics, as they call them.
Wow.
Yeah, and they would come and they would knock on the door. But Peter was a very, very disciplined man, from my personal experience, I have seen where women is concerned. Because enough of the time them come and them say, move them bumbo clad up from your say, yeah, man, I don't have time to deal with them things right now. And him focus. And his wife was there, and for me personally, my experience of being around Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh wasn't a man who womanized or keep up no kind of them kind of stupidness. He was very disciplined, and, you know, have his liberty a certain kind of way. You know, it was after I left Jamaica that I realized some changes going on with Peter. That wasn't what I knew him to be. You know, you know, different changes.
But there's a lot of controversy.
Yeah, a whole lot of controversy, you know, a whole lot of controversy. Even this footballer named Devon Lewis, he was on tour with us. He was cooking for Peter, cooking ital and cooking fish and different things for him on tour. And it's when I left that I found out that Profile was cooking for Peter Tosh.
Yes.
Yeah. I had gone to Atlanta, and then I realized that he was working with him. Because at the time when I was there, you know, that wasn't happening.
Yes.
And then I heard about the controversy between himself and... But even before that, there was an issue between Peter Tosh and the bridge named Evan Garden.
Okay.
Where Peter Tosh chopped him up. I mean, when I say chop him, I mean use a machete and chop him in his head and all of that kind of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's when I realized that no, certain things not right with Peter.
Yeah.
You know, and it went on until now. I heard the next issue now concerning Profile. Until when I went to Jamaica, I talked to Profile, and Profile explained to me, you know, some of the things that happened. And Profile is not a man. I see Profile as a very righteous and upright youth from the years of I living with him. See? So when he explained this side of it, I realized that yes, something went wrong with Peter, but I really don't know what took place, why he descended to that level, you know. And there's a whole lot of theories and stories around it, and so on and so forth.
Paranoia. You know, we have to look at mental health.
Yeah, of course, my lad, of course.
Because we don't look at these things and then we just gloss over certain things.
It's true. It is true.
Especially as brethren, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you have to go a therapist or these
Yeah.
things, but you need to seek some type
course,
of help,
of course.
some time
Of
as
course,
brethren.
of course.
And maybe the stress
Yeah,
and strain of being on the road,
yeah,
being an international superstar. Everybody wants something from you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And these things. So it's a lot, you know, that I have to look at. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that I preserve the positive side of the brethren.
Yeah.
When he was with the eye.
Of course,
You know what I mean?
of
but
course.
still acknowledge that something was astray.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the Peter that I knew, my lad. As I say, it was a loving and affectionate, cool, warm bridge, and I don't know at what stage he descended to that level. Because I wasn't around that time.
Yes. So okay. Legendary Mama Africa tour. What does the eye do after that?
Okay, what happened is that when we went to California, I lost my bag with my camera and my passport and whatever. So they were supposed to cross over into Mexico, and I couldn't make it in Mexico because I didn't have my passport.
Okay.
So I decided to go back to Jamaica. So when I decided to go back to Jamaica, they continue on to Mexico. But before they moved on to Mexico, I gave them my bill for me to be paid for the work that I have done. And when the bill got to the manager, who was Copeland Forbes at the time, he wasn't in agreement with it. Then he took it to Peter, and then Peter just said, "No, man, this can't work," and rah. So they rejected it. But what happened is that they had given me some money to pay. I think it was Dynamics Recording Studio. Not 100% sure, but I think it was Dynamics Recording Studio. Some recording that they have done, and they needed to send money for them, so on and so forth. So I said to them that since I am not getting paid, I'm going to hold on to this money. And that is what I did. When I went to Jamaica, I told them that, yeah, I have arrived, but I'm not giving Dynamics this money. I'm going to hold on to this money because, I haven't been paid. And that was the issue. That is why I got compensated financially for that tour by holding on to it. So Peter Tosh was cussing a whole lot of bumbleclads. When him come to Jamaica, this, that. And when he came, I was there in my office today when he drove up. And it's that gold Volvo that he used to drive. And he came out, and it was a cool vibe. Him say, put all them things that were behind where I am, man. We are going to do some more work together. No problem, everything cool. And that was it. But after that, I went to the US and everything just went down.
Filtered down.
Yeah. And I think he was having a lot of challenges at that time in his music career.
So you leave out of that world into the world of Atlanta. What year was this?
Atlanta was like 85, 86.
Was there a Ras Tafari presence in Atlanta at that time?
Yeah, there was Pan-African. It was a mixture, Pan-African and Ras Tafari. There was some brethren coming from Trinidad, who were in New York, and they were like real serious chefs. So they had a restaurant and thing, and that's where a lot of us used to meet in Atlanta. And there was a Jamaican community over the West End. Different communities of Rastafari was there. And, we used to meet at mainly festivals together in different places, and Naya Bingi tried. And very soon after that, the elders came in. Not soon after a while, the elders came in that was on tour. I think it was about 10 or so of them came on tour.
88, 89.
Yeah, and Mama Bubbles was living in Atlanta with us. Yeah, so she was part of that company. And a few other elder Rasses stayed in Atlanta.
Ras bigger.
Yes, exactly. So because of the natural environment in Atlanta and so on and so forth, they felt homely over that side. So the Rastafari community was building up from there, little by little. But my mission really was to come to Africa. That was really what was on my mind. And I kept that at the forefront steadfastly to ensure that that was done. So that's part of the reason why I'm here.
Okay. What was the journey? When was the first trip to Africa?
My first trip to Africa, what was that? 2009.
Okay.
That was when I came home.
So it took you a while then?
Yeah. It took me a while, my lad. My family came here 5 years before I came. My wife and my children, everybody was here before. My clothes, my library, because I had a library, a 20-foot container.
Wow.
That was a library in Atlanta, and I stocked it with books and furnished it and music and everything. So when you go inside, you're comfortable. So I sent that over and sent all of them over. So they all came over here. 5 years, because I had to stay back to try and sustain them. School, this, that. So I was there, trying to maintain that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what took me so long before I came.
So what was it like first stepping foot on African soil after so long?
Oh, my lad, it was a joy to know that I touched down. Serious joy to know that I touched down. And when I touched down, the first place I went to was Cocoa Beatty, in that community. And after start moving around and start seeing the place, the condition the place was in at that time, I got depressed. Yeah, because I didn't know that the city was like that. The roads was dirt road basically. A whole lot of it was dirt road. Some of these, even that Cape Coast road, was in a total mess.
Wow.
And a place named Mango Line, which was lines of mango trees on both sides on that road. It was like a dirt road. It was difficult making communication back to the west, because it was a telecom system that you have to go there, set appointment and go there and tell your people, okay, call me at this day, I'm going to be there. And you go there and wait and wait and wait. Sometimes you have to wait for hours, and you have to line up in order to get a call. So it was serious. And even the communication, sometimes you have to be speaking very loud, because the system wasn't as good as it is right now, and people didn't have mobile phones and all of that.
Yeah.
So that was it. It took me a long while before I could even drink that water that they call pure water from the rubber, because I've never seen the plastic bag.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before, because that wasn't in Jamaica when I was there.
Yeah.
So when I came here and I saw it.
In Ghana, they don't have bag juice, they have bag water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that is how most working class people get their water, as a little bag of water,
Yeah. So that, it took me a long while before I even started using it. I just couldn't get used to it. And the place wasn't as developed as it is right now. I've seen a whole lot of changes. Since that time I came here, there has been tremendous changes in Ghana here, and it keep improving gradually.
Wow, mightyful. So, what has been some of the works? Obviously, the IE's founding member of the Hemp Association of Ghana.
Yeah.
Also Food Sovereignty Ghana. How did the I get involved with these works, and what are some of the major victories since the I has been here on the ground and now able to put in practice the I revolutionary I that you had from Jamaica?
Yeah.
I think you have really actionized that
here
in Ghana.
Right.
But what are some of the achievements and works here on the ground?
Well, the first thing that we started off with was the citizenship issue.
Okay.
At the time, only one person I know who had citizenship, and that was Dr. Milano. I didn't know of anyone else who had received citizenship. And we came together as a group of diasporans until we formed the Diaspora Coalition of Ghana when Barack Obama came to Ghana. it was out of his visit that we decided now to come together as different organizations and individuals and groups and form the coalition, which had almost all the different groups of diasporans from different parts of the world under that one organization. Even though the AAAG, which is the African American Association, was there before, they also become a member of the Diaspora Coalition.
Yes.
That is where my activism started. You know, we petitioned the government for citizenship. There's 270 parliamentarians. We had to go to Parliament and issue position paper to each one of them, trying to plead our cause and whatever, for them to recognize that we are coming home and we need citizenship, so on and so forth. And nothing was coming forth, you know, until, you know, Dr. Milano, Rabbi Cohen, and quite a few others from different angles, they approached it until it got to this level where President Mahama came in and made the first example of initiating the process of citizenship for us. So all that time, a lot of us didn't have any citizenship. I remember I was arrested by the immigration for overstaying. And as a matter of fact, they came to this same village and arrested me in this same village and took me back to Accra.
Okay, so how did they know you were here?
I guess it's easy to tell a diaspora in a rural area like this, because you look different, you dress different, you talk different, you don't speak the language, so on and so forth. And I remember the Sunday there was a couple. They were coming from church with a Bible in their hand, man and woman, and they came to the place where I were at the time, we were staying. And I had built a library out of the prison, not the prison, a jail that they made on the border of Togo and Ghana, in this village. And the station that the border guards used to use. That is what was given to me by the chief when I came here to live in. So we renovated it and we took over that jail, and the jail was turned into a library. All the books and stuff that I brought from the US, they were in there. And they came when I was in the library that day, and they were just asking a whole lot of questions, just like a regular citizen. And then the next day, the immigration came and said they have to take us back to Accra. The car that they came wasn't enough to take all of us, because when I came here, I came with a family of 15.
Okay.
So they took me in and they left the children. And they carried me to the headquarters and said that they are going to deport me for overstaying and whatever. But the Ghanaian immigration system and police, they function different from the West. They are not as, I would say, as aggressive and Babylonian in that sense, in terms of their approaches and so on and so forth. So they always try to find a middle way to negotiate and whatever. So they took the passport and said that I must go and get a ticket, and then, get back on a flight to Jamaica. So it took me a while to even pull that together. Some days and weeks passed, and then when I finally went back, the person who took my passport had gone to study in the US. So they couldn't find the passport. And he was away for 5 years before he came back to Ghana. And that was when my passport was found. And by that time, my passport was outdated, so I couldn't move.
Yeah.
So, we kept on with the advocacy for the citizenship issue until finally I was given my citizenship. I think it's about 3 years ago. Finally, after all those trials and tribulations.
Illegal.
Legal in the system. Yeah. So that was where I started getting familiar with the state.
Yes.
And the politics and so on. Then food sovereignty Ghana. was the next advocacy. When we found out that they was about to pass the Plant Breeders Bill, like the next day, like we found out today, we mobilized ourselves, a group of us, and that was through the relationship with the Socialist Forum at the time. It was the Socialist Forum, Kwesi Pratt organization. That is where it got started, from a comrade who was living in Belgium, and he was one of those who was under Rawlins' time, who had to run away, because when Rawlins came to power, there were quite a few of them who had to run away because of their political position or whatever. So he was one of them who went to Belgium in exile.
Okay.
So he initiated that food sovereignty Ghana along with Kwesi Pratt. He wanted Kwesi Pratt to head it, and Kwesi Pratt told him that he was too busy at that particular time. So he was going to call some of his youths around to assist. So he gave the assignment to one of his youth, and they called me in to come in and assist. And that is how I became part of that leadership who started the food sovereignty Ghana. And then we went to Parliament when they was getting ready to pass that bill.
Yeah.
And we stopped it. At the time when we went there, they was like, oh, you people not serious. You can walk in Parliament like this and, trying to dictate to us and whatever. We may even charge you for contempt of Parliament, and they were getting very aggressive with that. But we took 2 lawyers with us. One of the lawyers was an elderly lawyer who have thought in the system. He belonged to the socialist movement, to the Socialist Forum at the time. And there was another lawyer, a young lawyer, who was a Ras Tafari youth. But when he was ready to pass the bar, he had to cut his locks. Or he cut his locks so that he could pass. So when it was time for us to go there, we said, no, we have to go there with lawyers, because we are going to face nothing but pure lawyers. So they could interpret the law and whatever. And it's a good thing that we made that decision, because if we had gone there alone, they would just rubbish all of what we were saying and send us out of that place without any accomplishment. So they presented their position on the Plant Breeders Bill, and because of the fact that they did not study the bill itself, and they did not study where it was coming from, what was the purpose and the whole mission, they didn't understand the principles and guidelines behind GMO and all these different things. We had the upper hand, because we had a stock of documents that, after explaining to them the science behind it and the politics behind it, so on and so forth, they realized that we did have some kind of argument for them to pay some attention to.
Yes.
But the lawyers were the ones who actually enforced it,
Yes.
because they were able to use the legal loopholes and whatever that was there to allow us to present our case.
Yes.
And if we had gone there without the lawyers, I'm telling you, we wouldn't have gotten where we are. So the lawyers stood up. There was some particular clause, I think it was clause 24, that they held on to that one, and when they read it out, they realized that, yeah, we do have a point to take this to court. And that is how we were able to stop them from passing it the next day.
Wow.
And then we take it from there little by little until it got into court. We actually sued the government, and we put a injunction on the fields trial that they were doing in the north, in the community. And the guidelines didn't allow them, the legal guidelines didn't allow them to do it as an open fields trial. It was supposed to be enclosed, and it was open. And they had broken a lot of the guidelines and the laws, even in terms of transporting these
the seeds.
Yeah, the seeds, etc., to do with GMO from the airport or wherever to that location. They didn't follow all of those guidelines. So we had a lot of legal standing, to actually push the case to that level. And that has been the battle from that time up until now.
Where does it stand now? Are they using GMOs now? Or?
Yeah, what happened is that they got a lot of lobbyists, along with some of these multinational corporations behind the GMO, who's pushing the GMO. And they did a lot of work, because they had sent people to go and study, give them scholarships and all different kind of things overseas, and they come back and they are in the system helping them to pass this law and whatever. And it got to the stage where they came finally. They came finally and said that, we're saying according to them that we didn't provide enough evidence to convince the court that they shouldn't proceed. So it was kicked out of court, and they went ahead and passed the law for cowpeas and corn, maize, to be genetically modified to put on the market. So it has been introduced on the market. We have no evidence at the moment that it is in the market, but the law passed for it to happen. Nonetheless, we are going to appeal. You know, we rejected that statement that they made in court about us not. Our argument wasn't compelling enough. So we have to appeal it. So we are still in the process of doing that. The battle is not over yet, but what we did at that particular time is that we also raised the issue of the fact that if they are going to put it on the market, it must be labeled.
Yes.
So we fought for that in court and we won it. So legally, they have to label every single GMO product. And that was a strategic action to ensure that people have a choice to decide on whether they're going to use the GMO or not, and also another strategic action to minimize the sales of it, because once the education is out there about GMO, people realize that this is not something to be trusted.
Yes.
And they will be skeptical. So the market wouldn't have it so easy in disseminating that thing to the people. So we still have a lot of work to do around that to educate the masses more about it, because we are not sure exactly where they are right now with the distribution of it.
Okay. Very crucial, and it's something that we talked about and talk about with the ITAL certification standards.
Yes.
How critical it is to have ITAL zones.
Exactly.
To avoid contamination with these seeds that
of course.
Contaminate fields.
Exactly, because most people don't realize that the genetically modified organism, you know, they have a seed called a terminator seed.
Yes.
That will destroy your crops, especially if you have another marijuana farm close by. It will destroy it, you know, and so on and so forth. When they decided to pass the Plant Breeders Bill, we were not so much attacking it from the standpoint of it being GMO. We were looking at it from the standpoint of the fact that they would manipulate that particular market with foreign breeders, because the system here in Ghana is a few breeders that have that capacity and the resources and whatever to really make that much use of plant breeding.
Yes.
But the foreigners outside, once they realize that the law is there and the law gave them all the right to come in and monopolize basically that particular area, and we were totally against that, because we realized that they would come in with their capital. There's easy access for them to even come in with genetically modified, you know, technology to control the market like that. So that was the main thing that we were against, and that's the level that in which we fought that battle. But now we are at the stage now where the advocacy has to be waged again to ensure that the society is protected by, you know, from GMO. We presently have this issue of galamseed. It is in the system, which is creating a lot of devastation with the ecosystem.
Yes, talk about it.
Yeah, and GMO is even more dangerous than that, because it has more access to human beings, much more than the galamsey. Because even within the supermarket, at the time we realized that GMO was being sold in the Accra Mall, coming from South Africa, cornflakes and different items. And at that same time, it was illegal. But nonetheless, it was on the market.
It was on the market.
Yeah, they had glyphosate, you know, Roundup, on the market selling to farmers. Even in these most of these areas, those chemicals are being sold at the farmers' stores.
Yes.
How did those things come in this country if it is illegal? But nonetheless, it is here. So there's a lot of work still to be done where that is concerned.
Education.
Education, yeah, education and policies.
Talk to us quickly about the Hemp Association of Ghana and that work.
Okay, the Ras Tafari Council of Ghana was the one who spearheaded the initiation of an advocacy for cannabis publicly. They had a forum and a press conference that was launched at that particular time to call for decriminalization or legalization at that particular time. And we were all a part of it. My partner and myself and the whole Rastafari community was at that particular conference. And it was from there that we recognized that we had to actually take the lead in terms of taking it to Parliament and advocate for the law to be passed. So we established the Hemp Association at that particular time, started mobilizing farmers in these areas, in particular in the Volta region,
Yes.
to prepare them for what is to come. Then we recognized that it was important to also establish a business side of it, because these are people who are cultivating cannabis illegally. And we want to be able to let them become part of the legal regime when the law is passed. So we had to mobilize them for that to happen. So we gathered roughly right now we have about 300 farmers.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of them come from this region, Volta region. And we took it to Parliament, and we followed it from day one, non-stop. No, not even one day we had ever missed one parliamentarian session. We're always there to ensure that we follow through and understand the issues, and communication with parliamentarians. Sometimes when there's a break in Parliament, we have to go downstairs and try to educate them, pass information on to different parliamentarians for them to represent the issue, because they knew nothing or not much about the science and the politics of cannabis, to be introduced to the system. So that battle went on for a while until the bill was passed. When the bill finally passed, they had to move from one stage to the other. And now they are at the point where there needs to be a fee for licensing.
Okay.
For us to engage in the cultivation at hemp at 0.3% THC. That is the cap that they have put on it. And I don't even understand why they even make it illegal, because it's not a narcotic plant.
No.
At 0.3. So it's basically useless to even establish laws to contain that. While we can understand what they're saying about the other one in terms of its content, it's the content of the THC in the other one. So we are basically waiting on them now to put a price on the license. They recently came out with a ridiculous price, which was going to marginalize all these farmers who have suffered. Their families have been discharged. Some of them are still in prison. And so many destructive things has happened to these farmers. And with that kind of price, it means that they wouldn't even have an opportunity or a chance to engage in the industry. And so many Ghanaians, so many farmers and all of that. So we rejected it. So it is back there for them now to come out with a new price.
So that is what we are actually waiting on.
The eye came to international prominence within Ras Tafari because of a case involving your children, where they were being denied access to education because of their choice to grow their covenant. Can the eye just give us a little insight onto that and the outcome?
Okay. The issue started was when children got to a certain age to go to a very prestigious school in Ghana here that has great prominent people who have passed through that school. Jerry Rollins is one. I think Kofi Annan is one. Sammy Nkrumah, and quite a few others who have gone to that school. So it's a well-known, prestigious school for bringing out a certain amount of leadership in the society. So the morning when I took my children, mother and I took our son there, Oinba, to enroll him, we were told by some of the teachers that they are not going to accept him. So I was very shocked to hear that from them, but I said, no, let me go and see if that is real. So nonetheless, we went in the line. When we got up there, they told us they cannot enroll him unless he cut his locks. That was only my son at the first. Yeah. So I said, no, this cannot be right. So let me speak with the headmistress. And I tried to speak with her on several occasions, and she refused to meet with me at that particular point. Yeah. And I eventually spoke with the vice principal, and he told me that they have had students in the past who have come there and they have rejected them, and if I want I can take it to wherever I feel like taking it, but they are not going to compromise. They will not accept it in there. And he was very adamant. So I left. So when I went home, I called the lawyer and I told him that this was what happened. The lawyer, Wayo Ganamanti, he's the same one with the JMO case, the Rasta lawyer. And I called him and he told me, and he said, no, go back and let them put it in writing. So I immediately went back. So I left my son there and my son's mother at home, and I went back. So when I went back there, I saw another Rasta youth and his father sitting down there. So I asked them why are they there, and they said they're waiting to see the principal because they didn't allow them to enroll the son into school. So I said to them, hold on a minute, let me go inside here and find out, because I've spoken to them already. And if there's any problem, we are going to take a class action lawsuit and sue the government, and sue the school for discrimination, violation of your human rights and your culture and your religion. And they agreed. So I went in and I spoke to the vice principal again, and he was adamant. He said he's not going to give me anything in writing, so I need to take it to wherever I want to take it. So I went back out and spoke to the young man and his father, which was Tyrone Magai, which is the other student, and his father, Terrio Magai. And I told them that we have no other choice than to do that because they are adamant about preventing the children from coming to school with their locks. And they agreed, but they wanted to go in and see for themselves what would happen, you know. So they went in and they plead and they beg. Even my children's mother, before, when the first visit, she was begging them and say, okay, we will tie it a certain kind of way to make it look neat and whatever. And they insisted that no, it has to be cut. So they went in and they tried also and they were rejected. So it is from there now that I called a lawyer and told him what has happened. And then I took a picture of my son and put it on Facebook. And a picture of the young man and his father sitting down there. And I put that on Facebook. Because when we realized that they were not prepared to make any compromise, we realized that, you know, we had to fight the case. So we agreed together to fight the case, you know, to take it to its ultimate. and the lawyer had agreed to defend us, pro bono. Nonetheless, we needed to come up with a certain amount of money in the beginning to actually initiate it, because we didn't expect him to take on all of the expense just like that. It was a noble mission that he was on so on, but we also felt that we should have done something to help encourage him. And he took on the case from there, and it went to court. And the school was just flaunting its power, by basically telling the GIS, which was the Ghana Education, GS, Ghana Education Service, that their laws cannot be violated by any of the students or the parents. So they are going to go ahead and stick to it. And that was when I started getting more knowledge from the lawyer. The lawyer started explaining to me, that legally they are wrong, this, that. So he was able to point out the different clauses in the Constitution, and I started getting familiar now and studying the Constitution and realized where they were actually violating the children's rights. So once I realized that and I had a good understanding of it, I decided now to push that line of the violation of their rights. And then I started checking into the history of the school. And once that information started coming out, members of the society who had some knowledge of the history of the school, they started to furnish a lot of information in the media. The school is this is their legacy, this is that. And they started showing even white people in the school who have long hair and all of that, Some of them say, yeah, I went to school with this guy or this girl, and they had their long hair and so on and so forth. So we took all those documents, those information, and republished them on social media. And then social media, took it up now and start, communicating where that is concerned. And
because you tap in with the Ras Tafari, the global community.
The global community, yes. And that is what they were disappointed about more than anything else. The school was saying that, why did we have to take this thing international? Because it's disgracing the school. And some of the parliament split in two. There was one side of parliament saying that we should go below our own school. We don't deserve to be in that school. And another side was saying this is not fair, this is injustice. So the parliament split in two for a while. So it was a big disturbance to the society, And every single day, it was like trending for about 3 months, constantly. Because the Attorney General determined that he was not going to allow us to win that case. And when he comes to court, sometime 5, 6, 7, 8 lawyers, he would have a big team of them coming to face us. There was one lawyer there until we got 2 other lawyers to come on board and support us. There's a sister and another brother who came and started supporting us. And there were quite a few lawyers who were sending in information to us that they want to join the case because they realized that we had some legal rights.
Yeah.
And some of them, I was overwhelmed by the response, to be honest. And some of them I didn't even see them until late, because every day they would be coming in. So we fought that battle until we finally gained victory. At a point, even an advisor from Ghana, a female advisor from Ghana, to the President of the United States, Joe Biden at the time, called in to inquire about the issue, because they had something that they were fighting, a similar thing they were fighting in the US called Crown Act.
Yes.
And they wanted to solidarize with us. So they organized a forum at the law school and to address some of these issues. And she couldn't come out officially as a representative of the government. So that was done in her private capacity. So we got that support from there, and that spread throughout the whole United States, the UK, Jamaica. There was interviews with Mutabaruka, several interviews with Mutabaruka and other entities across the globe, not just the US and the UK, but even Sweden and so many different places, and other African countries and all of that.
And just for reference, what year are we talking about?
That was like 3 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago. Yeah. So the case went on for about 3 months, and the judge decided that she's going to fast track it because she didn't want the children to suffer.
Okay.
And that's exactly what she did, you know, she fast tracked it, and then we were trying to even get compensation for the damages and all of that, but she stated clearly that it wouldn't be wise for us to do that because the children would be going back to the same school and it may cause animosity, so on and so forth. So she didn't allow that to happen. So we said, fine, no problem. So after my son, the 2 boys got into school. My son went in first, and the other one went back to school. We were a little apprehensive of animosity and all those kind of different things. So there's a school called Ghana International School, which is one of the most prestigious schools here in Ghana. They offered the scholarship to my son, which was 160,000 scholarship, and then he left. He only spent 1 week in that school in Achimota.
And then
he went to GIS, yeah. And it was a group of students who organized and put together that money. Former students and some members of the staff or whatever, and they came together and put that money together to facilitate the studies for that particular time. And he recently graduated and seeking now to go to university. The other young man, Tyrone Magai, he was given $1 million US scholarship, a combination of different schools who were trying to get him. So now he's in Pennsylvania University. So that's been the battle, my lord.
Give thanks. You know, this is a historic figure here in Ghana, and internationally, a lot of these battles still have to be fought on the continent. It's not all a bed of roses. You know, we still have a lot of legal battles to fight across these colonial vestiges, you know, the vestiges of these colonial governments that still remain in Ghana. Big up to man like Ibrahim Traore that has outlawed, and certain other ones that outlaw the white wigs.
Exactly.
You know, so there's a certain consciousness that is rising up. Before we go though, I want to get the story of how I came to this particular village and set the groundwork for where we are, and then that will lead us into how do you feel about what you witnessed at this ITAL certification there as part of the ITAL RMO ITAL certification subcommittee, and the I has seen what has taken place here, which I think we both agree is historic. But lay the groundwork. How did the I come to this community?
Well, we are presently in a village called Leatiwati in the Volta region. And I came here as a result of Mausi, which is a citizen of this village.
Yes.
They call him for Mausi, which means brother Mausi.
Yes.
He is a builder, and he used the rammed earth technique to make construction. At the time, my wife was alive. She passed away now. The one who I brought here with the children, She met Mausi in Accra because he was doing construction in the neighborhood for some tourist site. And she saw the natural material that he was using to do the roof and to make the bricks and so on and so forth. So she asked him to give her an estimate of what it would take to do construction on our side, because we had 12 plots on the front of the beach in Accra. And that's where Mausi started that relationship with the family, because I wasn't here, I was in Atlanta at the time. And they continued, started that project on the 12 plots of land. Then I came here and I met Mausi physically. And when I met Mausi, you know, he told me about the village. And because we had so many children, it was 15 of us together, the family, we said it would be best to come to the village where we have better access to resources than we would have in Accra, because it was very expensive over there at that particular time. And he said, yes, we are welcome, he will invite us and make us become a part of his family, adopt us in the family and so on. And that's exactly what he did. So we all came here. The whole family came here and got the children in school, and we started doing farming projects on the land. I mean, we cultivated carrot, cabbage, tomatoes, beans. We even did soya beans, lettuce, and it was in such abundance that we had to employ people from the area to go to Togo to sell, which we are on the border of Togo right now.
Yes.
So they would take the lettuce, baskets of lettuce to Togo to sell, take it to Oyo and different places to sell it, because it was just coming so much. And then we started a mushroom farming project to teach the young people here how to cultivate mushroom as a way of, making a living, and a few other craft endeavors that we finance for them to get involved in. And that is how we came to establish ourselves in the community here, by doing some of those projects with the support of Mose and the chiefs and the elders. And they use what is known as communal labor, because I'm not a farmer. I would say I'm not a farmer in that sense of having that skill. And I didn't know anything about farming until I came here. And they offered us communal labor, which means that they would let the whole village come out whenever I'm ready to cultivate whatever it is. And they would come and weed the place, prepare the grounds and do every single thing together in a united spirit. And also, when it's time for reaping, they would do it. I even planted brown rice at that particular time.
Okay.
So I had a rice field. And the same thing, they did provide the same labor so that I could actually see the benefits and the abundance from the land.
Okay.
And this is something that they rotate. So if they have a farm tomorrow, I would have to go and assist them doing the same thing.
Yes.
And that's how the community sustains itself. So that is how I came to be here in this village. Well, recently we had the ITAL certification workshop here in this village, because as most people know, that Ras Tafari have been functioning with its own self-determination policies and guidelines, separate from the system itself in many, many different ways. We are people who believe in self-reliance in so many different ways. So as part of our liberty, we came up with the understanding and the knowledge of ITAL, which was drawn from ancient indigenous cultures, to prepare our food outside of the system, because there are so many contamination and poisoning and whatever that are in the general food system that is not in keeping with our religious philosophy and spiritual philosophy and culture. So we came up with that understanding and practice of ITAL, right? Which meaning natural, but we take it on another level, more than just natural, much more than when you talk about vegetarianism, veganism, and so on. So we have taken it to our next height, where the spiritual component of it is also considered as an integral part of the ITAL liberty and the ITAL trad. We have done make so many contributions to society, and in many ways it is taken by the system and capitalism itself, capitalize off of it, and the Rastafari community is marginalized and don't get the benefits of it. So we are looking into all of that and saying that we have to start having full control over our intellectual properties, so on and so forth. So the ITAL trad becomes one part of it now, that we want to ensure that we have some legal certification that will protect it, mainly from capitalism and imperialism, which always come in and violate indigenous cultures. So we came together as Rastafari brethren and sisters from different parts of the world to come up with a standard, a ITAL standard, certification standard that would give us that recognition and that respect, and also have sovereignty over our food system. So that's the main purpose why we did it. So this workshop that came brought brethren from different parts of the world who were part of that coming together to build it. And we came to put those policies together and those guidelines so that we can actually present them to ensure that we have the legal rights and status to be able to guard and protect it, and also make it becomes something of importance, an important contribution to the health of the world. You know, as Rastafari is always about peace and love and to share with humanity with what we have. So that is also another contribution that we want to make. So that's why we are here today. And we have linked up with the Black Food Sovereignty Organization coming from the US, who have had a long tradition of advocating for the food system of black people to be under their control as part of self-determination. Mm-hmm. So we came and we have had this summit basically that has brought so many ones from different parts of the world to actually learn and formulate policies that will take us into the future to ensure our food security at this particular time.
And how did I see this? You've been to many gatherings with many different ones. This the whole settings from the service at Kazi. How was everything?
Okay. First thing I want to say is big thanks to the I and Kashan for inviting me officially, because at first I didn't know anything about what was happening, and I would, receive an official letter of giving me an honor and a respect and an appreciation to be part of this with all expense paid. And I really appreciate it, because sometimes it's not that you wouldn't go to some of these forums or whatever, but the finances may not be there to facilitate your movements and so on. So that offer, I really, really appreciate that came, because it's not, what I receive here is not something small, honestly speaking. And even some of the people who have come here, they have really invested a lot to be here. They have saved up their money and their time and whatever to be here. So it took a lot to really make this journey and to participate. So I want to big up Kazi for, Abasha and Kazi for making that becomes a reality for me, right? Because coming here and being a part of this event, it took me back to the days when I was treading with Profi, Mutabaruka, and other Rastafari impulse like that, and elders teaching us about indigenous lifestyle and the Ital liberty. I am very, very appreciative of the fact that I'm able to meet so much revolutionaries. Last night you made a statement and you said that this is a revolutionary move. Mm-hmm. And indeed it is a revolutionary move. It is just like what is happening in Burkina Faso on this agricultural level, right? Because revolution is about complete change. This is a complete change from what the system is offering us. And we are at a point right now where the mining companies and individuals who are functioning on a capitalistic level have devastated the agricultural system and the ecosystem in other parts of Ghana. And it's such a blessing that the Volta region is not affected like that, because of the fact that they have not gone in that path in terms of introducing mining to the system like that. So when you said last night about this revolutionary move, it is appropriate to make statements like that, because that's what time it is right now. Africa needs a revolution, right? African leaders need to have revolution at this particular time and to make bold initiatives like these that are not common is something that is, well respected and appreciated. Having to meet all these different conscious farmers who have had so many experience in the agricultural system, especially in a system like the United States. It's a racist system like the United States that has used food as a weapon against black people for so many years. And it is definitely time to really control our food system. So I feel very honored to be among individuals like these who have that mindset. While we're here fighting with food sovereignty Ghana in this system, we recognize that there are others throughout the world who are actually doing the same. So joining together in unity is definitely an appreciated moment.
And it was such an honor to have Dia here to be able to show the royal family that continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Ras Tafari is not no new thing.
Yeah.
We were able to honor Ras Aswad. They could honor him. Everybody's there seeing everything. So they can see the fruits of their investment
Yes.
in Ras Tafari, brethren and sistren, how it has benefited the
Yeah.
town and how we are becoming the fabric. I've been telling the guests here, welcome to heaven and earth.
Yeah.
And I don't get no pushback.
No, you won't, my lad, because it's real. It is real, It is real.
And I think that is a perfect place to end, So family, there you have it, one of the legends of Rastafari, living, ever faithful, ever sure. We are here in Leate Wote at the Kweku Ando Sustainability Institute by the riverside.
Yes, I.
With Aishenta Days, and this is part one. Again, there's no ending to reasoning, only continuation. Big up my Asian Ras Iris who always showing that. So any final words to the global family and also to some of your colleagues in Jamaica?
Yeah, the first thing I would say is that we as Rastafari, or I and I as Rastafari, have always been chanting about repatriation with reparations, right? And we are not going to back from that. We still have a long way to go, and I'm hoping and trusting that brethren and sisters who are fully aware of the importance of repatriation and reparation would put a little more energy towards repatriation, because if you do not occupy this space, others will occupy it. And when you come here and you see real foreigners occupying the space, you are going to be very bitter. And you cannot blame them, because you yourself have your home and you have left it abandoned. And there are opportunities now, much more than before, for you to repatriate, right? So ginger up yourself, fire, right? Kindle some fire underneath your feet or wherever, and have that will to come to Africa, even if you just come and look. And I'm sure when you come and look, you'll realize that you have been missing something for all these years and these generations that is still here waiting on you. Give thanks and praise. Rastafari, Haile Selassie, I Empress Menenai. Jah.
Rastafari, I, Almighty I. And there you have it, family. Ghana, West Africa, we are here. We are going to be flooding the airwaves with Ghana content, so just stay tuned. We're fully loaded, not going anywhere. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story.
Rastafari.
And this is the lion's voice.
Lion voice. The second beast was given the power to give breath unto the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak, and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced the people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive the mark on their right hands and in their forehead. Gone down in the new world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's the new slave ship. New world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's the new matrix. It's a new world order, them start bleaching. Diverse doctrine, them start preaching. The angels for the stars they reaching. They're falling, never hear the lion calling. New world order, them fight against the poor. Machine and robot that sweep them floor. Machine and robot that run them stores. So them create disease ones without any cure. The new world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's the new slave ship. New world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's the new matrix. It's a new world order. Them pan cell phone. Families don't even talk in their home. Village farmers get murdered by drones. Village mistress get murdered by stones. New world, so you better call Tyrone. Tell him prepare to use the whole earth a war zone. New world, Satan must feed the throne, so we must exit us and leave him alone.